All right. Another day, another highlight here on this YouTube channel, Edge Trading Group. Subscribe to the channel every day, 5 days a week. You can go back, see 5-10 minute videos. Today we had some really good icebergs, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over what an iceberg is, but it's just a word to define more than meets the eye, just like an iceberg. Iceberg is what? You see the tip of it, and there's more than meets the eye below the surface. And so the market has the ability to have people put in orders. They might show a two lot that they're looking to sell, but there's already 200 that's sold. And in our puke tool, that's this screen that you guys are looking at right here, we show those icebergs. If it's a red line, it's a sell iceberg. If it's a green line, it's a buy iceberg. And then it gives you these numbers, like 200 is how many he's done, and he's showing two at a time. We have to wait until it gets traded a little bit to determine that the order is still there, turns into an iceberg. There's more than 200. He's showing two at a time, and he's not gone. The order still remains. So if the order still remains, then there's more than meets the eye, hence an iceberg. So when we see it, and Dave, who's controlling this screen share, isn't here to pull this screen back to show you a couple examples today at just after the open and then just before 9 Central. So I'm just going to draw it on this screen share and show you what it kind of looks like. But when you have, let me even make the color red. When you have a red iceberg, let's say it's right here. It's a line that would come up on our screen just like that. And we know, and maybe it came back from way back when the market was up at this price. So let's say an iceberg we know is there. We look at the number, it's at 200, let's say that number would show, and he's showing two at a time. And now the market's coming back to it. Generally, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but generally an iceberg is a magnet where you're going to go, if you're down here, you're going to go back up and trade it. A lot of reasons for that, and they're fascinating reasons, but with time and really not the reason for these highlights, I'm not going to get into it. But what's important when you see an iceberg show up? Number one, it's obviously identifying something, and that's, in this case, an iceberg. There's more sellers or buyers than meets the eye. Number two, well, what does it mean? What is it going to do to the market, and what questions are appropriate to ask when reading it? And like we said, at around 8:35 this morning, there was a bullish read on the market that the first move could be up in the ES. And the reason is because an iceberg come in and the market grabbed it right away. All right. When sellers come in and there's more than meets the eye, and someone says, the market, I'll buy those. Oh, you got more? I'll buy those too. That's a clue. That answers the question that there might be an appetite for buying. And if there is an appetite for buying, then price and direction has the probability being up. I mean, that's order flow and reading order flow that you don't hear a lot about when you try to learn about it. You know, order flow is a buzz phrase in the business for the last several years, and a lot of people try to teach it. Most, probably from what I understand and feedback I get, most people who try to teach it don't do a good enough job. Or they're trying to read too much into a dome and study too many numbers. And you have to distill it down into making it easier to read. So all order types have to be understood in order to you throw all these order types into a funnel and you distill it down to what's important and what questions come of it. So when reading anything, you have to have yourself to be able to come up with, intuitive questions even. And in this room, I actually say it aloud. Say, listen, if there's an iceberg that shows up and there's a lot there and the market doesn't give a what and just swallows it up, hey, upside's probably the right side. Really important question to ask with the identification of an order. So a lot of order flow understanding out there is all about just recognizing stuff, right? Buyers, sellers, right? But that's only part of it. You better be able to recognize it if it's there for the rest of the world to almost see. The stuff that we've worked on the last several months is this MBO, market by order. I'm going to do a series of this in more detail, but it's pulling where the stops might be, and certainly where the icebergs are. And so one way to show an iceberg or use it is how soon or how quick does the market gobble it up. There's a green iceberg, all right, and it's a green line, and the market shoots right through it. Let's say it's right here. Well, there's an appetite for selling, and downside might be the right side. It's all about asking the right questions. I've said this for a long time. Stop looking for the right answer and start looking for the right question. And the right question reading order flow is, how does the market react, and how quickly does it react to bigger size than it didn't know was there, and now it does know it's there. Another thing that's interesting, and this happened just before 9, is we had a big iceberg that came. It was a red one, actually, that came right at the highs at that time, the regular trading session highs, and we came right off it and went down. And it was a big one where it stayed there. And I told people, even though we broke about, how much did we break? We broke, let me open this up. This isn't where the icebergs come in, even though there's red lines, but it came in right here at 40. No, it was right here at 40, 38, 39, whatever this high was. And the market broke pretty decent down to 22. And then it had a couple sell icebergs that we got through and showed that the upside might be the right side, and the longs puked. But a lot of shorts puked up here, plus a red iceberg came in. And even though it was up there, and I told people you can't just buy and hold, but we are going to go back up there, and that's a magnet. You got to pick a spot, and that spot became down in here to find direction. Trading is all about knowing where a market might go, which is your target, and then picking a spot to get in and a spot to get the hell out when you're wrong. And then if you have great targets, you have a shot. If you have great spots, you are going to hit your target. But if you have a great target with crappy spots, which are locations, you're going to be a frustrated person, because you're going to be right and never be able to pull consistent money out of the market. So good luck, stay safe, subscribe to this channel, and come to the room eventually as well. But this is a highlight reel of what we talk about every day. And everything, if you go through my YouTube videos, you know, these highlights are one of two things: correlation with markets to markets, or order flow.